Sheeples!
Hey, hello, people or sheeples.
Wait, I
What's
forgot. This
up?
is Z, but you probably know my voice by now.
How did you forget that? How you forgot your own name?
Because in my
How does
head,
that
all,
work?
all that's playing right now is.
Oh my god. Yep,
Okay,
yep,
I guess
yep,
I guess we've annoyed pretty much
yep.
everybody up till now. But if you're a Potterhead, that is so much nostalgia. Like
Oh, a lot of nostalgia.
that is the
I
fat lady
mean,
from the
honestly.
painting just going on in Hedwig's theme. Cause oh
Oh,
my god.
you know what the funny part about her was, like, in the first movie she had such a bland personality because they didn't give her any personality in the first
Yeah, 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 yeah,
technically
yeah.
second movie.
Yeah,
Third movie, suddenly she's like trying to
she's
sing
like,
and break the glass. And
yeah, that's exactly when like
oh, but
suddenly
we are
she
getting
went
ahead
out.
of ourselves. We are getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh fuck,
um
dude! Like, do you
but
really think like do you really believe that story that like it makes me really afraid and insecure to believe that a human being could imagine this entire universe on a train ride. Like
oh, that
if she can
dude,
do that, we are really insignificant. We are
dude.
weak,
Dude,
bro.
I swear, like, J.K. Rowling came up, and J.K. Rowling, is the one who wrote Harry Potter, came up with this
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
story on a freaking train ride is
yeah, dude. Like,
an
that's a
amazing thing to
that's
think
a
about.
great sales pitch, but it makes me very insecure because like they see me Rowling. Like
They see
they
me
hate
Rowling.
it in. Trying to
But
write it
before
dirty.
before we even begin,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta introduce myself as well.
Oh yeah.
Come
Who
on.
are you today, my friend?
So usually, as you all know, that I go with like no name, the dude
Yeah.
with no name. But this time I think I'm gonna name myself Padfoot.
Ooh, oh my God, this is the
Yeah.
Marauders map. I'm crying.
I,
Oh,
I I
damn.
think I think he genuinely was one of my favorite. Like one of is my
Sirius
favorite
Black.
character. I can't say, but Sirius Black is
Oh.
freaking amazing, dude.
Dude, and like, do you know how my mind was
Mhm.
blown when I was watching The Dark Knight and someone go like, "Hey, Sirius looks so different here," and I'm like, um, what?
Yeah, Gary Oldman, right?
I could not
Yeah,
unsee
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm like,
It took.
ye
I
wada,
never realized it. I
ye
never
raja
realized it
Sirius
until like
Black
I
tha.
think. Exactly. I think until last year I didn't realize it.
Dude, the power of long hair and a beard, huh? Like,
Oh,
fuck.
I swear, I swear. Which I'm actually growing right now. Just to put it
Ooh.
out there, I'm trying to
Wait,
grow
grow
a proper
beard or
beard.
your hair? Or both?
Beard. Hair.
Whoa.
I'm gonna get a haircut soon.
Nice. No, man, grow it out. Grow it out. Go be all like,
No. My hair grown doesn't look good, dude. I've tried.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it,
Fair.
it it my hair is curly, naturally curly, and
Dude, embrace
the
the fro.
no. So the moment I try to grow it, it just looks wrong, dude. It looks so wrong. I'm like, nah, I can't.
Oh,
Um,
damn, bro. Like, but like
mm,
Harry Potter.
mhm.
Like this has been building up for at least 4 episodes up till now that we're gonna do an episode on Harry Potter, and we
The build up is
finally
real, man. The build up
the
is
build up
truly
was
real.
so real. Like, dude, an entire generation inspired, an entire generation that still is waiting for their acceptance letter from Hogwarts. Like, oh my God, I would run away so hard. Even if like 1% of the wizarding world was true. Like, I would be in fucking Diagon Alley and like diagonally doing all my shit with Muhammad Ali and doing all of that fuckery out there. I would just run out
What
of
the fuck are you even talking about?
I would run out of my real life so hard. I would make all of these bad puns from Diagon Alley to Diagon Alley to Muhammad Ali, and I would just run away. I would buy my pet. I would buy my robes. I would buy everything. And just run. Just run.
Malkin's robes, huh?
हाँ
Full
मतलब
on.
Madam Malkin, huh? Like Madam and
Malkin, huh?
Malkin.
Madam
Both are like
Malkin. Like,
any
the first time I read it in a book, just to say, like, the first time I saw that word in a book, I was like, why is this Madam Malkin?
yeah. Like I don't like
What?
is Apu from The Simpsons gonna be featured on here as well? Like
No.
for
I mean, it felt like really nice to have, this whole. Oh, but I was like, is this a Hindi word, or is it just like,
yeah,
is
yeah.
this supposed to be that, or is it like pronounced something
For
else?
all of you non-Hindi speakers, Malkin and Madam actually are synonyms but different languages. Wait, can they
Yeah,
still be synonyms if they're a different language? I guess
yeah.
not.
I mean,
Please
they mean the
correct me.
same thing, dude.
They mean the
Yeah.
same thing. They mean the same thing. But if you're looking at it technically, arrest me. Oh, but
Mhm.
don't even get me started on those Hindi names. Oh my God. Oh my
Oh,
fucking god. Harry
just to
Potter.
just to ask before we even say one
Oh,
of those Hindi names,
this
what
is
was
the
the
worst.
house? What was the house?
My,
If you have you, I'm guessing
yeah,
everyone has
I
given
got
that
sorted.
Pottermore quiz.
Oh yeah, please. If
Yeah.
you haven't, you are scamming yourself. You are living in denial. Go right now to Pottermore and get yourself sorted. I am a Ravenclaw. This dude is. I
Oh
think
yeah,
you're
your
a
Cheel Ghat. Your Cheel Ghat.
no.
Yes, your
The
Cheel Ghat.
the Indian movie industry, especially the Hindi dubbing industry, has absolutely no taste in lexicon. So they've decided to give
What is with you and words, man? Why do
it.
you have to say lexicon?
I don't know.
What
I'm
the
trying to
fuck?
make a point here, I guess. I am frustrated. I want to speak to the manager. Like
What are you, a Karen that you want to
they
speak to a
gave
manager?
such bad Hindi names. Like
Mm-hmm.
Philosopher's Stone was called Paras Patthar. Oh
Mm-hmm.
God. Like Slytherin was called what? Nag
Nag
Shield.
Shakti.
Nag Shakti. Oh my God. What is this? Am I going to go to a tree and put milk in it? Next thing I know, like
Gryffindor was Garudwar,
oh,
and
so much cringe. So much
and
cringe.
for the house that I was sorted into,
Ah,
which is Hufflepuff, it was called Mehnat Kash.
I'm sorry, but chi. Like
I,
Gandagi.
I like it's a riot for me to think of those names because I
God,
remember.
it's so
So I
bad.
remember watching these movies. First reading the books, but watching these movies
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
theater and watching them in English, and then them coming on TV
Uh-huh.
with the Hindi dubbing, and
Oh
then
fuck.
listening to them like completely change the words and the house names, and I laughed my ass
Oh
off
my
that
God,
day.
it was like just a minute of silence for you know what they
Yeah,
don't
if
deserve
we
a
are
minute
keeping a minute
of
of silence, I'll just continue eating this mango. By the
silence.
way, it's freaking amazing.
It is mango season. Like
Uh,
mango,
I
Empany,
might as well take this man and
go.
go. Uh,
Mango for me. Like you just go. Petrol colored. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Harry Potter, I think, has to be arguably the biggest influence. It helped me to really imagine things that weren't there. It really
yeah.
blurred the line between fiction and reality,
Hmm.
and the magical world was so pragmatist and so practical that it literally seemed like someone who's a wizard was you know, secretly commissioned to write about the Wizarding World so that no one else knows about it except for the humans. And oh my God, she's done such a good job, so
There was that.
thorough.
This is one really funny thing that I read, or rather came across on the internet.
Yeah.
Was J.K. Rowling is actually Rita Skeeter and just is
Yeah,
writing
yes,
Harry
yes,
Potter
yes, yes, that's
to sell the series.
so much fun. So much fun when I read
That
that. I was
was
like, shit, that is so. And you know,
yeah,
that's the worst part, right? Everything is so believable. You're like,
yeah, yeah,
wait,
yeah, yeah.
am I the only one who's
Whoever
not?
came up with that thing, right? Of like she's Rita Skeeter was freaking
Dude,
amazing because
those
that was
theories are insane. I mean,
yeah.
like, I really hope we have organic people out there making these theories. But
Hmm.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we have like a team in the publication that's tasked with like keeping the fandom alive. Because, dude, they're doing a good job, and that fandom is raging. Like, I think the only fandom I've ever really been a part of was like Harry Potter.
Yeah, for once, this hipster is actually a part of a
Yeah, like I
fandom.
am like call me a Potterhead like that. That's the only thing I'm not a non-conformist for. Like if I were really to like I'm really contemplating getting a tattoo and I really think that
Deathly
my
Hallows.
tattoo is going to be the death. Like at least one of the tattoos
Hmm.
has to be like I think the only way to identify like a Harry Potter fan is like just imagine you're running and you're caught in a mugging and then like the thief goes like, "Gives me all your money," and then you roll up your sleeve and there's the Deathly. I was like, "Oh, you're a Potterhead too? Okay, you know
Or
what?
you could
Take my
have
money."
the you could have the dark mark on your hand and just show it to people.
Oh, like Nag Shakti coming out of a Skull Shakti.
Oh, are are.
Like this is happening, yo.
Oh
Oh,
my
God.
god.
Dude,
But
dude.
where do we even begin, man? Like
But I
we are
have no
already all
idea.
over the place. We
I
are
have no
already all over the
structure.
place with
I
this.
have no pattern. I'm just like reeling in all
But
that.
you know what? No, no, no. We need to have some structure to our conversation, right?
Do we? Do we?
We can fanboy
Like,
over it and fangirl for whoever wants to fangirl.
running out of breath.
Okay. But no, honestly, we can do that. But
Okay,
let's actually, for the
go for
people
it.
listening, let's, for their
For
sake,
the
let's actually have
people
something
listening.
for the sheeples
See,
listening.
that's the whole thing. And the Sheeples is like just the ha 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 ha. It's like, see, that's where the inspiration falsettoing the fuck out of this
Every
shit.
time you do that, right? Like it's just in my head now. Just stop it,
Dude,
man.
dude, we need that as our doorbell. Like, just imagine every time someone rings the bell, like, that would be
Just shut.
so cool. Dude, that's going to be my ringtone. I'm going to record this. And
Oh
probably
my
doing
god.
the seventh cup of coffee at 3 p.m. is also not a good
I think
idea.
people are gonna tune out by now. Like they'll
Oh
be
my
like,
God.
"Fuck these guys."
And
They are
I'm on an
like,
overdose of caffeine and Harry Potter, so I don't
yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
how that works. But yeah, I'm going to hand over the mic to this guy.
So
Why don't
okay,
you say
okay, okay.
something
No,
so bad?
I just want to ask you one question from
Yeah.
my side. What really got you into Harry Potter, and why? Like, what was it that you first got into in that series? Was it the movies? Was it books?
Well, it
Like,
has to be the books, man. Come on, like you know me.
no, I mean,
I think it
I
was back
yeah.
in 2003, 2003, 2004, and I remember,
Mhm.
like, shout out to my sister because she's always had the greatest taste in music and books, and she's elder to me. And obviously, as a younger brother, I would initially go like just like make fun of her, like, what the fuck? Why are you listening to this song? Why are you listening? Why are you reading this book? It's so lame. Don't do that. Come play with me. But one summer I decided to give it a try, and we were at my grandmom's place, and
Mhm.
she had I think she had three books till then. She had the
Right.
philosophers, she had Azkaban, and I think she had Goblet. Maybe she didn't have the. Yeah. So it was that summer, and we just went to my grandmom's place, and I remember this was 2 months of waking up, eating delicious breakfast, and reading Harry Potter from 10 a.m. to like
Mhm.
7 p.m. in the evening, and just like
Damn.
killing those books and just being
That's
so
awesome. But wait, Goblet
so
of Fire was
addicted.
out in 2003?
No, then probably it's not
I'm
the
guessing it
Goblet.
was Chamber of Secrets,
I think yeah,
Azkaban, and
I think it's
Philosopher's Stone,
Chamber,
right?
Azkaban, and then Philosophers.
I
And oh
mean,
my,
yeah, the first, second, and third of the
yeah,
series.
I think it's those three, and it was just insane. Like all I did that summer was read Harry Potter, and fuck,
That
it
sounds
doesn't get better.
amazing, man.
Doesn't get better. What about you?
Um,
How did you get into it?
so for the like opposite of your thing, I have usually like at least as a kid, I wasn't a kid who used to read a lot of books.
Okay,
I never
sure.
got into it. I did read the Harry Potter series, though a little later than most people had started out, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I actually came across the movies first and then got into the books.
Oh,
For
okay.
me.
What was that like?
Um, I mean, it's been fun. I still love the whole universe. I think the only thing was I was a very big like movie fan. I used to love watching movies. I still do love watching movies. I watch everything. But in general, like as a kid, my mom also used to take me for a lot of movies, and we had gone for this for Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone or Paras Pathar.
Paras,
Either way,
oh my
you
God.
you
If your name is
wanna.
Paras and you're listening to this, shout out to you. Comment down
um,
below. You achieved
no,
something, my friend.
I remember going to that movie and just I don't know falling in love with the character, falling in love with this whole like idea of wizarding world and the wizards and magic.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
you usually like from what we had seen magic, it was always like what abracadabra and all that stuff.
No, 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 no,
and
no. Just
and
scarring. Shararat. Like, just
oh, Shararat is
string
underrated. I'll
wing.
say that. Shrink ring
Vartamar,
Sarvaling
Badalay.
Vardhaman, but
Sorry, people
that was
from.
a shout. I
Yeah,
liked that series,
yeah.
still,
Shruti Shet
still.
and Farida Bilal. Yeah.
Also that Sonpari
Sorry for
thing that
the
used to be.
international distance. Just some weird
Yeah,
hyper-local cultural
these
reference.
are shows that were in India that used to be
Yeah,
like aired on
yeah.
kids channels.
That did a very good job at keeping the benchmark very low of
And
expectation.
oh, no, it was a lot of fun. I love those series. Let's not.
No, no, the benchmark was
I'll
really low because there's
I'll fight you on those series, bro.
no,
I love
like
those.
compare that with Harry Potter. Where are the benchmarks on both of
Dude,
those?
What is a anyway, let's not. But
Yeah, yeah.
I still say, like, Harry Potter in general, I think, yeah, just watching that movie got me so hyped up on it that my mom, like, I think that was the only thing I could talk about for a, I don't know, very long time, 6 months at least. I must have like irritated my mom about, like, oh, Harry Potter ka chahiye, ye chahiye, let's buy a broomstick or something. Like, she just
Yeah.
handed me a broom and she's like, हाँ, कर, तेरे को जो करने का है तू इसके साथ कर, उड़ने का
You
है उड़, बस
fireball
just jump, don't jump,
boy.
don't jump from places, just do whatever you want. but
And
yeah,
you up with the broom.
I think actually, yeah, just the fact that Quidditch World Cup as well,
Oh man,
not Quidditch World Cup,
what
rather
a
Quidditch
sport!
first. No, the
What a
whole
fucking
thing,
sport, man! Like,
like, that's that sport and everything about that whole movie was so amazing. And at the time, again, as a kid, I never cared for reading books, right? So I never thought of,
yeah,
like, oh, there must be a book that this has come from. I just thought, oh, somebody like made a movie on it. I never knew there was a book on Harry
like,
Potter until, like, I think the third movie or fourth movie.
okay,
uh,
fair.
like, I think it was the fourth movie that I got to know that, oh, wait, there's a book, there's a book
Abhyala.
that is derived from.
Yeah,
um, but yeah, so that's when I got to know about the books, and that's when I actually started reading them. And I went back to the first one, I read the whole Philosopher's Stone, read Chamber of Secrets, read like Prisoner, and before and after the Goblet of Fire, I actually read the book, and I
okay,
realized that Goblet of Fire is such a big book, dude.
it is. It
I
is.
think it's
I think,
longest one out of the
yeah,
whole, like, seven.
I think it's like a very close tie with the seventh book, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I think that's also the book where everything started, man. Like, the craziness and the
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
preparation for,
I think you're right when you say everything started because
like,
like the
like
first
the main
book,
preparation for war, if you want to call it,
yeah, hang on.
was the fourth book,
It's
because
literally like the first three books are shot in the setting is daylight, and the
yeah.
fourth book is like the mid part of the day, and then the last three books are like completely in the night.
No, dude,
Like,
you're bang on. Like, I genuinely feel like it, and
and they're such
the
kids, man. Like if you look at them like puberty, really. I mean, that's how you define puberty and change. Because these guys were such small rats. Like they were.
we've grown up with them. We've
Yeah,
genuinely grown up with
exactly.
these kids.
I think we're about the same ages as they are. These guys were so
Oh
tiny.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
fuck, they grew to be such beautiful people. I mean, of course, in the book and also off screen as well. I can
Mm-hmm.
just imagine they're just the bestest of human beings out there. Wow, bestest, like just fucking up my
Bestest of human beings. Uh,
superlatives. But yeah,
I
these
mean,
guys,
honestly, like, these people that we've seen grow up with, like,
yeah,
through this, it just made us attached to them so much. I think, just the fact that Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint and Emma Watson,
yeah.
also just saying Emma Watson,
Dude,
the real
I have
first
a
crush.
I have a fucking confession. Okay, so Emma
Yeah.
Watson was like, of course, this is not a big ass surprise if I say it was a huge crush, but the level
I
of
think a lot of
crushing,
boys had that.
yeah, the level of crushing actually went to a very weird direction. So I was in the third grade.
Don't tell me shit that I don't want to
No,
hear from
no.
you.
You gotta hear this out. This is literally like
Okay.
my first confession in ever. And like I've
Okay.
never. Yeah, so what I did was I went. No, I was gifted a butterfly shaped pencil sharpener with
Mm-hmm.
which had a keychain to it, and it had Emma Watson's photo on it. And now I'm in the
Oh,
third grade, right? So I am
okay.
about 7 years old, and I'm a fucking retard just roaming around like la 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 in my half pants in school. And I take that keychain with me into school in my pocket, and I literally
Uh,
pretend like there is Emma Watson in my pocket, and I am dating her, and we are in a relationship, and
I'm
she
so
goes
sorry, Emma
everywhere.
Watson, if you're hearing this.
I'm sorry, this is the weirdest shout out you're gonna get, but a 7-year-old thought he was carrying you in his pocket and he was dating you, and
Oh
life
my
was
god.
perfect. Dude, I literally remember,
That's still kind of cute to think about, though.
yeah,
Like, just
I
little Z going
yeah,
around.
literally. Like it was I remember like everybody would after school would end and everybody would leave the class and then I would wait and see no one's around and I would take her out of my pocket and I'm like, okay, now we're gonna go home. Bye.
Uh,
I put her back in. Oh my god, I look back in
oh
retrospect
my
and that was
god.
serious weird levels.
Yeah. No,
Crushing
honest,
so hard.
I think like just the fact that we've actually seen their journey has actually, like, I don't know, grown, made us like, I don't, it somehow we never think of them as anybody else but our friends in a way. It's weird to think about it in that way,
And
and they
what I
don't even
would
know
give.
us. They don't even
Yeah.
know us. It's like, yeah,
No, but Emma Watson knows me. She's in my pocket still.
of
So
course. Of
yeah,
course she is.
I'm dating her.
But she might be in your pocket, but she's always in my heart. Haha.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
dude, fuck that. I
So
mean,
I mean, we can talk about her all day anyway, but
oh yeah, yeah. She doesn't
but
need to be creeped out.
yeah,
She
I'd
has
rather
a
not
heart.
creep her out as well.
By the in the slimmest of pickings, even if she decides to hear this, yeah, this is where she'll stop. Probably this is a good point. Or
uh,
she'll be like, yeah, no.
she's not gonna hear this. You know that. I know that. Let's not fool ourselves here.
Hey, she's my
But
girl, okay? If I tell her, I'm sure she'll consider it.
sure,
I'll,
sure.
I'll,
That
I'll,
stop. But
Oh,
yeah, no. So you know what? I just want to go around, like, talk about each and every book with you. Genuinely, like,
yeah, go for
with
it.
the first book and the second book and everything, like, because like we said, the fourth book changed everything, right? And
Yeah, true.
even for the movies, like, each and every movie and each and every book had its own, like, I don't know, we have our own love for them.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
let's just start with, like, I'm guessing you've seen each and every movie as well, right? Like, some
Yes.
people have only read the books and not seen the movies as
No,
well.
I've seen
So
all the movies as well.
right. So if we were to go, Chal, let's start with the first book.
Hmm.
Did you when you saw the first book being translated into the movie, did you miss something in that movie? Like, what did you feel? Because for me, I
See, to
first
be
saw the
very
movie, so
honest,
I never
I
really
think
got to know.
I think till the third book, I didn't really notice any gaps. Also, I was
Mm-hmm.
like a little kid, so I wasn't a fucked up adult who was trying to psychoanalyze every detail. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think my blank goes up right to the third book where they just skipped the Quidditch final. Like, just fucking skipped
Oh,
it in the movie.
yeah.
But
They didn't show
yeah,
Gryffindor winning the Quidditch Cup.
yeah.
Then why did they
So
why didn't they
that
show
was
them winning
messed up.
the
At least in
Quidditch
the
Cup?
first book, for me, the milestones were like Harry being mistreated and the boa constrictor. Just
Ah,
thanks.
I mean,
These
oh
were
yeah, yeah.
had
Peeves also was kind of missed out on. Though I guess I
yeah.
can understand why Peeves wasn't brought in, because I think that would just be extra runtime for not a lot.
I
Though
mean, and did
though
you know right from the beginning that there will be movies for all seven books, or was it like did it come out in phases?
uh for the movies.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, well,
I mean, I never really looked into the news at the time. This is like early on, right? Like, these movies came out in the early 2000s when
yeah,
we
I
were
think
never
they
looked
decided to
into
probably
books.
sample with one book
Yeah,
and see how like they had
yeah.
no fucking idea the kind of
I mean,
jackpot
I
they're
mean,
going
the
to land
books
on.
already had a very big response in the UK in general, right? Like,
Correct.
so the audience that was asking for it was there,
Yeah,
and I
fair.
think the studio saw that they should make
Yeah,
these movies and kind of work on
correct.
them and put the budget in, and that's, I think, that plan was always there, that they'll make the whole series into
I
the
mean, yeah, that was aspirational for
movie
sure.
thing.
Do you remember like there was this such a kind-eyed Dumbledore in the first book, and then
He passed away,
he
man.
passed
Like,
on,
that's the
right?
thing.
Yeah,
So what happened
I
was,
still
he was
remember
there
his
till,
expression like
yeah.
earwax. Ah,
He's an amazing actor. Just saying, like, he's done a lot of work before
yeah.
that.
I don't care. He's only Dumbledore. He's done no other work, and I think that's the exact same reason why I
No, but
haven't seen movies.
for that for that actor, for his work that he did,
Sure,
honestly,
fair. I'm just kidding you. Yeah,
Richard Harris is, honestly, like, one of the great actors that who passed away sadly after the second movie, and that's why
okay.
he had to be changed. He had to
Yeah,
be
right.
replaced, and
From the second
Michael
movie.
Gambon, who did an amazing job as Dumbledore,
Dumbly,
like, Dumbly,
Dumbledore,
Dumbly.
Dumbledore.
I mean,
I
Albus
mean,
was
does
amazing,
this
and
happen to
his
you? Like, I mean, at least for me, I have not been able to convince myself to see any other movies of these guys that these actors might have acted in because, like, it's such a paradox that their success has, at least in my head, just set their characters in stone. Like, Daniel can't be anybody but Harry, and Hermione.
honestly, I think,
Like that's what happens to me. I mean, I recently saw this movie called the Social Circle or the Circle something in
right,
which Emma Watson is
yeah, Red Sox something it was called.
yeah,
I
and
don't
all I
really
could see is like Hermione, इधर क्या कर रही है? What is she doing
remember.
here? Like she's so far away. Did
you
she
need to watch Bling Ring then. I'm
she had
telling
a
you, you're gonna have.
portkey or
Also,
something?
not only that, like watch Perks of Being a Wallflower, bro. That's an
Ah,
amazing
I
movie,
have been
and
recommended a
she's
lot.
done an amazing job in that. And
Yeah,
anyway, Ezra Miller and all those people. It's a really good
I
movie.
mean,
You should watch.
correct.
But like in general, like I think honestly, I didn't stop myself from watching that movie. I was kind of excited for watching like the other movies. To be fair,
Yeah, fair. So
for me,
all of them
it
went
was the
into
opposite.
acting. All of them went. Like I remember like
No,
briefly
no,
that.
no. Rupert Grint isn't like acting.
So Rupert
He
Grint basically just became Ed Sheeran, right? Like, are we going to talk
yeah,
about the elephant in the
yeah.
room or what?
He's Ed Sheeran for
He's Ed
sure.
Sheeran, obviously. Like
Also,
he
he's gonna
obviously
have a
makes up.
kid. His
What?
He's his
Ah,
wife
another
is
Weasley is
pregnant
on
right
the
now. That's
way.
crazy.
There's another Weasley on the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Another Weasley is joining the
How are they
troop,
going to
man.
feed so many
Freaking
mouths?
amazing.
Yeah, that was just a
Um,
snide comment by Malfoy. Comment.
but oh, Tom Felton still continued acting
But
though. Man.
he made it so easy for us to hate him, and that just shows how great of an actor he is, right?
Dude,
Because like,
honestly, I think I loved him in the sixth movie. Just saying, Tom
yeah,
Felton in the
oh
sixth
yeah,
movie.
when he starts to transform, and oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God,
yeah,
he
yeah.
cries
And
because that bird dies in the wardrobe,
dude,
and
that his acting in that movie was
that is
amazing.
so.
But we are again getting ahead of ourselves. Let's
I
talk
know.
about the
Why do
first
we
movie.
gotta structure it?
First
Harry Potter
movie.
is the best.
We have to structure it
Okay, you know
because
what?
because
At
we,
least for me, the
huh?
first movie had all the landmarks. Okay, it had
Yeah.
Harry, it had Hagrid giving Dudley a tail, and then it had Diagon Alley, and then it had the train, and it had the train lady with all that fucking sweet tooth. Like just like dude,
Everything that you want.
what the
You
fuck
want
this
something from
chocolate
the trolley, dear? Anything
pumpkin?
from the trolley?
And then Ron's all pissed off, like all I have is just these beef sandwiches.
And then Harry just flexes on him.
Yeah, but I
he,
got so much.
he just removes a fucking fistful of gold.
Yeah, like yeah, like
Look at this boy.
this boy and
He's
just
our
buys
boy.
stuff for everybody, and oh my god, and I think that's where they like they talk about the
Harry's the
frogs.
reason hype beast culture exists because he flexed on his friends.
Oh, dude, that was crazy, man. First movie had all like they even had Fluffy. Like what more can one
Fluffy,
ask for? Like that was
Fluffy,
fucking
and also I think one of the most fun parts of that movie was how well they actually started with introducing everything,
correct.
and just that opening scene of Hagrid taking him through that pub in
Yeah,
London,
yeah, yeah,
the back wall, and then just touching like and just like doing that code with his umbrella, or
yeah,
rather wand slash
yeah.
umbrella, whatever you want to call it. And he and then suddenly like all the bricks are going moving to the side, and it's just like such
That,
a new world emerges in front of you, full of people, full of like shops and magic and animals and um, everything that's there, like Gringotts and everything. Like you could,
oh god.
it was such a good way to introduce like just the whole idea of a wizarding world.
Yeah, and
Um,
they tie it back, right? In the first movie, Harry's like, no, they
yeah,
can't have dragons in here. And then in the fucking sixth one, they're
yeah.
like, oh God,
No,
the
that was I think that was the
seventh,
part two or part one only that happened. A
part
seventh
one,
part
part
one,
one, seventh.
seventh, yeah, seventh one. Where they go into Gringotts and kind like basically they had to get the Horcruxes, right. But again, we are moving ahead. Um, so yeah, first movie. So introduction, amazing. I think just the whole sorting part as well.
Mm.
What was your favorite thing in the first movie? As just like
Dude, it's gotta be those fucking grabs from the dinner table, man. Like, so much food. So much, like,
oh
just
yeah,
Dumbledore rises up and he's like, nitwit blubber oddman tweak. And then Harry's like, he's a bit mad, isn't he? And then Fred is
yeah.
like, a little, yeah. And then what? Where did all this food come from? And then they tie it back, right? With like there
Yeah.
actually are house elves, and that comes much later. And there's that
House elves were in the so
yeah,
all about house elves was I think started up after Dobby and all those people
yeah,
came in, but they never showed spew in the movies. To be
yeah.
fair,
They
like
never
they
showed
never showed
spew.
the whole spew part and like Hermione actually fighting to free the elves and all those things. So
And I
that
mean,
was
and
actually
that debate. depicts her real life character is well, right? Because
Yeah.
she went on to the UN and then I think she became an ambassador for peace, and that's like a
Um. Yeah, Emma Watson, right? Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, Hermione, who's Emma Watson? There is no Emma Watson. There is only
Really?
Hermione Granger forever and ever. Like the
But
heart.
I think she wouldn't want that because Hermione might be a part of her, but she
Yeah,
still is more than that, right?
I know
So
the struggles. I mean, her parents are really dentists, so what can she do, right?
oh my
Oh,
god. But
right.
she
After the
she she
chamber.
is, yeah. And again, even in the first book, right, I think one of the best parts for me in the first book was just reading about Quidditch, because I've loved sports, and in general, like, I follow a lot of sports. So just the whole
Mhm.
idea of like this fantastical thing of like flying around on brooms and scoring points and catching the golden snitch that gives you 150 points is just
Damn.
amazing. And Harry becoming a seeker was one of
Yeah,
the best. I think
youngest
Quidditch scenes
speaker
were one of the
ever.
best scenes in the movie as well.
I agree. I agree. Like the one with Madam Hooch, and like they're
Yeah.
like up, and then Harry's
Oh,
goes up.
but they did change a lot of things with characters in the movies. Huh? Like just saying,
Mhm.
like Hermione and Ron.
Mm.
I think some of Ron's personality was taken up by Hermione in the movie in general.
Okay. Okay.
If and I'll tell you why later on as well. But
Okay.
because Ron in the books was a lot more like he did Harry as a brother, and you could see like he really took him into into his family, and he got him like he was Harry was that person for him that like just became that close. And to Harry, he became the Weasleys in general became such a big part of his life.
Yeah.
And in the movies, I think like the whole idea of like how Ron also felt like he's being neglected because there were so many people in his family, seven brothers,
Yeah.
um and the whole idea of like there are so many people, he just gets hand me downs, and his whole struggle of coming out of that shadow and being who he is. And Ron Weasley, and that also like the whole idea of his friends are equally amazing in their own ways, and him becoming the whole prefect and head boy and all those things kind of like got forgotten in the movies, which I feel kind of sad for, because Ron had such a good character arc throughout the books, and his growth was really cool to see. Uh, but the movies kind of let it go and just made him like one of those comedic characters for like
Like
slapstick
just
comedy at times. And
yeah.
Rupert Grint did a really good job with it though. Like his expressions and his moments in the movies were really
Yeah.
funny.
They just spiders. What?
Even
No.
like even in the
I'm
first
afraid
movie,
of spiders.
man, his lines were so good, dude. Even in the first movie, like just him saying bloody hell
Yeah.
is, is is still like will get me to chuckle, genuinely
Yeah.
chuckle.
For sure. For sure,
But
man.
they did forget the potion scene in the first movie. Yeah, just saying.
Okay. No, I. They did.
Like remember so when they were trying to finish the tasks to reach the Philosopher's Stone,
Mhm.
like there was security, right? And Snape was
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of the
yeah,
people
yeah.
who had set up the
Right.
security. So
Correct.
his task was that potions task that Hermione
Yeah.
helps Harry to
I
complete.
remember now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They skipped
Because
on that.
yeah, because in the first task, in the first thing that was protecting it was those vines.
You had
I'm forgetting what they were called.
you had those keys, no?
No,
Oh, yeah.
keys
Okay.
were there, but like before that, before after Fluffy, they
Correct.
fell into that room with like those vines, right?
Correct.
That were
And then you just had to like let go and just be
yeah,
absorbed. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ron could. So then Hermione did a spell where there was lots of light, and
So
then
the thing was in the books that also was a little different, to be fair, the way
yeah.
that worked out.
But
But
I'm,
again,
I'm
that's a whole different
I'm
story.
actually fine with that because
Yeah,
something is great visually, and
yeah,
like I
yeah,
would
yeah.
rather they skip the
I
potions
think
and they
I
would
think
do
that
the
worked.
test.
I think that worked for the
Yeah,
movie for sure. I agree with you.
yeah. But then it's
Though,
always going to be a tough task, right? Like you're
yeah,
gonna like someone's going to like a scene more than the other people.
yeah,
But I think more than anything, movies are a product of a lot of market research where they're really like taking in a lot of checks and balances, and they're testing
yeah.
out what they really need to cut out and what they don't. Books, on the other
Also,
hand, I
this
think
was this was also the first movie as well, right? So they
hmm,
also
hmm,
had
fair.
to be careful with what they are doing, how they are working it, and how what would look good
Yeah,
in the
and at
movie.
least for the first movie, it was a given that a lot of people who'd never read the book would watch the movie. So like the
Yeah,
movie also had the responsibility of turning people to the book.
I
you know?
mean, I was one of those people,
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly. So
I never read
they
the
did
book
a good
first.
job.
I
They did
was
a
I
good
was
job
one
for
of the
sure.
people who watched the movie first. So yeah, I agree with the fact that they did a really good job with that. What about the second movie though? Like, I think the second movie they did really well with the way they created the
Mm,
sets and
mm, mm.
with the basilisk, like the whole mystery of like
Yeah,
what is it that's kind of petrifying all those students and
yeah.
like why are they
And
getting
I
petrified? What
think
is
it's
the
great they went with, petrifying instead of dying because, like the readers were still too young in the second book and, death might have,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think, really. So I think that was a great strategic move, even though, like, in the
on JK's part for sure, yeah. Like she did a really good job to kind of set up the whole idea of petrification is like caused because they didn't look at the basilisk in the eyes directly, and the whole idea of like the heir of Slytherin being a thing, and we didn't know what Voldemort like was or who is heir of Slytherin might be Voldemort, but what is the real thing behind it?
was right there from the because you had Dobby coming in and trying to warn
Oh
Harry,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
like the whole that whole like I was just up in my heart when
yeah.
like he takes the cake above that relative of the Dursleys, friends of the
Oh, that
Dursleys, and he's like, Harry
was
Potter must not go to Hogwarts, and he drops it, and then Harry's just
yeah.
grounded.
Oh,
Oh,
but
dude, and Ron comes to rescue him. Like, fuck.
dude, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It wasn't just Ron. It was Ron, Fred, and George, right? Like
Yeah,
all three of them.
Weasleys.
Oh, it was so much fun, and that scene is so nice. And I think one of the funniest thing is that was actually one of the best things in that movie was that was the first time we got to see the Burrow and
Oh my, like
properly like get
he
to know.
garden and like stuff like
Yeah,
that. So perfect, man.
yeah, 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 honestly, dude, and meeting the Weasleys family and the mom and
Yeah. And
oh
then
my
Ron's
god,
still embarrassed. He's like, I know it's not much. And Harry's like, I love it. He just cuts
yeah,
him
yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
shut up, dude. Like this is what because it
Also,
is.
also his dad at asking about ducks, rubber ducks.
Oh yeah, he's just so
What is the
fascinated.
function of rubber ducks? Like, just the fact that that's like they don't even know what a rubber duck is just because like they're that like away from the human world as the visiting families in
And
general. That was such a fun thing too.
it's just
It's
like
these small details, right? Like
yeah.
just these small details.
And then you have Lockhart, right? Like the idiot who just keeps
Oh,
flexing.
that guy was so dumb. So, sorry, Sheeples. I think there was an issue in our connection right in between. Like suddenly it got cut off, and we kind of had to stop the recording and then again start it again.
Yeah,
So
the choice of COVID-19 and recording remotely. So yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a
sorry
little
for that.
dicey, and our audio at times does get messed up because we are recording from
Yeah,
our own
but
phone.
it's Harry Potter, so we're gonna jump right in with
Oh yeah, yeah.
oh,
uh,
God.
but again, we kind of left off at talking about the Burrow
The Burrow, yeah.
in
What
the
nice
second movie.
name,
Like
such a comforting name, like a house for
yeah,
bunnies. Burrow.
the fact that like just having those Weasleys, and I think we spoke about uh, the duck thing that
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah, yeah.
Weasley was talking,
Yeah.
asking Harry about what is the function of a rubber duck and all those kind of things.
It's so cute,
It
man.
was
His curiosity.
yeah.
Arthur Weasley.
Also, I think in that movie we kind of got to learn a lot more about how Voldemort, rather Tom Riddle,
Yeah.
uh, had genuinely had like a very manipulative side to him, and his personality was just like the right balance of charming and smart to actually get people to do what he wants, because that's how he kind of tricked Ginny and
Ginny, yeah.
Harry to kind of do the things that or talk to him and kind of listen to whatever he's saying and all those kind of things, and
Yeah.
the whole fact that we got to see a little bit of his interaction with Dumbledore,
Yeah.
and got to see what Hagrid was
Fuck,
was
that is
trying to
so
hide.
heartbreaking, man. Hagrid
Yeah,
took the fall for Aragog, and it was
oh
a
yeah,
lie, man. I mean, it's so unfair that Hagrid was just cast out. It like
I
makes me all
swear, right?
mad. Like, and that's
Al-
also because of Voldemort, like that fucker
Yeah,
ruining
yeah,
lives.
that freaking Tom Riddle, man.
Yeah,
Um, but Voldemort, and we say his name proudly because we are not scared to say
Like
his
he
name
who
in
shall
general.
be fucking named. Like fuck
Yeah,
you.
he who shall be named.
You will be named, motherfucker.
Uh, but honestly, like I think it was a very interesting way to start the whole story of okay, this is who Voldemort was, and this
Yeah.
was what his personality might have been like, and just the fact that we got a glimpse of it, and then see, and I think one of the best things that they did in this movie was the way they showed the basilisk.
Fuck,
Like
dude. That
that
is
was such a
insane.
cool.
Like, and like the whole involvement of parcel tongue and like how when Harry like speaks parcel tongue for the first time and everyone in the school is freaking the fuck out,
Oh
and then
yeah, dude.
no one talks to him after that. He's just like he becomes like and I mean it's so unfair that happens to him so many times throughout the movies, right? He just becomes an outcast and then everybody's like, oh no, wait, we're friends again. And they're like, no, 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 my mom told me I can't talk to you. And like someone says something about the newspaper and then suddenly he's undesirable number one. Like so much
I think
psychological
that's the
trauma.
that's the thing with his popularity and his struggle as well, right? Like his
Yeah,
struggle to be the normal guy, the guy who doesn't want to be the boy who lived, right? He wants to be the boy who's normal and just like have friends and have
yeah.
a have a fun life, have a normal school year for once, for
Yeah, because
once.
he's not had like a regular childhood at all. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
and he grows up in a household where they're devoid of emotion. I mean, okay, great. Petunia takes him in and all of that, like, all right.
Yeah.
But like, boo fucking who, right? I mean, just treat him like a kid. Like, don't make him live under the
One
stairs
very
and
interesting theory for this that
yeah,
I read online was the fact that since Harry was a Horcrux, being in a vicinity of Horcruxes can really change your personality and make you like worse, right? In general, because
oh yeah,
remember
we see
how
that with
Ro-
Ron
Ron
wearing,
had been affected,
yeah.
yeah, and the fact that Harry was with these guys for what 11 years of his life. Uh, People like someone said that it might be because he's a Horcrux, and they were like, and since they are humans and Muggles rather, they were affected because of that.
Either ways, I
They,
think Dumbledore was the mastermind of everything. Like, I remember just having frustration towards Dumbledore and like, why the fuck could you not spell it out like simple? But I think it's a lot like real life, right? Like, I know there are a lot of people who think that there is not anything beyond the life that we see and hear. But I think
Mhm.
just like real life, if the purpose of life was given to you right at the beginning, I mean, we think that it would make life so much easier, but I think it would just make life worse. And I think probably somewhere Dumbledore had that wisdom that
Mhm.
he's supposed to like put out low dosages to Harry and not let him know everything up front. But it's really frustrating, man.
Also,
Like,
the fact that Harry wouldn't be able to handle all the
yeah, right?
information beforehand, right?
He had to
Like
grow.
yeah, he had to grow. He had to get, I don't know. He had to become more responsible to be able to take up that fight against the whole Death Eaters and the idea that these people were such a bad regime of like just such bad people that wanted to
Yeah.
completely remove the whole idea of like muggles and mudbloods from the world
Yeah.
and all those kind of things.
No, but
And
I'm so glad that juxtaposed with that you have Harry meeting the Weasleys. Like
yeah,
I think those are some of his best memories of just feeling like being at home
yeah, like just
and
having a
it,
family and
yeah,
Mr. and Mrs. Weasley actually treating him as like
it is
one of
just
their children
brilliant.
is
I mean,
really
even later on in the series, when they know that housing Harry is going to put their own family at threat, I mean, dude, they
yeah,
lose a son to him. Like, what,
yeah,
what, what? I mean, how can you be that selfless? But they still are. I mean, you don't see them hating on Harry because their son died. Like, they're still very. But okay, riddle me this. There are
uh,
two disappearances that happen in the movie that I just can't explain or probably I can't remember right now. But Percy Weasley and Crookshanks just seem to like disappear. And
Percy. I mean, we know what happens with Percy in the books,
yeah, he
anyways.
fights and he leaves the house, but he doesn't
Yeah.
appear later at all, right? Like we don't know what happens after the war.
So the thing is, actually, yeah, he does. There are bits and pieces of his story here and there. I can tell you this that, and I think this is also because I kind of got into Pottermore and read about. a little more about the whole idea of what Percy did
Okay.
and all that. After, like this, he loved his family in general. The only thing was that he had very different ambitions from what his family had, right? And that's why he fought and left, and he didn't agree with what like his father was doing and in the ministry, and he was like, you could be better, you could get promoted and all that. Why do you still like want to study muggles and all that? And the whole idea, and Percy wanted to do his own thing, and he wanted to reach the whole minister position kind of stuff,
Yeah,
right? He
dude,
wanted
the
to
whole
be at the top.
dynamic between him and
Yeah.
Fred and George is hilarious. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like
always
Fred and George are amazing, man.
ragging
I
the
love
fuck
those
out
two.
of him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the whole thing was that once he leaves, and when all this war happens, and when like in between, we all know that he's with the minister
Like,
whenever,
he
like
becomes
even like giving
assistant to the
orders against
minister.
the Weasleys. Yeah, like they're giving orders against Weasleys or whatever, and like Percy did keep writing to them, trying to convince them like you should listen to the ministry. Like it was his way of trying to protect them, though he wasn't doing the right thing at the time, or he didn't realize what he was doing at the time. And after the war, when he also sees that Fred has died, and like when he genuinely like gets to know about the whole thing, and he's with his family, he repents, he takes part in the war as well, right? So
Oh,
he
he does.
repents.
'Cause I don't. Is that part of the fandom or is it part of the book in the movie?
um it's there in the, I mean, I remember reading it on Pottermore. I don't remember if this was in the
Okay.
book or not,
Because I
but
think as far as the book and the, I mean, I could be
he
wrong.
was there. No, no, he was there, dude. He was one of the first people to go and sit next to Fred's body.
Oh, okay. Then I might, my
He
memory
he
might be
he was
hazy.
he was he was the one who consoled Ron, and he still like according to the book, he still repents the fact, or regrets the fact that he had left his family in between, because he realized his own thing. He realized what was happening. The ministry itself was also corrupt, and how the things are happening all around in the wizarding world. What was all with the
You
rise of the
remember
Death
that?
Eaters and all
You
those
remember that
kind of things.
Patronus that comes in the seventh movie? It's like the ministry has fallen.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, 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 dude. That
God.
was
During Bill's wedding, Goose fucking bumps so
crazy,
hard.
man.
Like,
But yeah, like on Fred's passing is the time like he really like gives. He's the one who hugs Ron first, and he's the one
yeah.
like he's there. He is showing that emotion of, he does love his family. He knows what he did is wrong, and he will be there to make it right in general. And yeah, I think
Fair. And do you remember any more Crookshanks?
Crookshanks. I don't think I remember what
Spaced out,
exactly
right? I
what
mean,
it was.
like secretly, I'm like, wait, I want to discover a plot hole. I want to discover, but I think the authors and the publication are way too smart. I think they've covered up
Yeah.
all those loose ends. They've tied everything down.
Huh.
But yeah, man, just like second book was also fucking brilliant, and that brings us to Azkaban, and then you have the fucking
Azkaban. I
Night
think.
Bus
Oh, dude,
and
Night Bus.
like,
They did such a good job with it in
yeah,
general.
right.
Like,
He makes his,
um,
Harry makes his aunt float away. Like,
also the director in the third movie changed, right?
okay, then,
And yeah, yeah, yeah. So the first two movies had Chris Columbus as the director.
okay.
The third movie had someone else. Wait, who did they have? I can't remember. Uh, I just but other anyway, like he was an art film director. Like that's what I remember of him.
Okay.
And he basically gave his own like twist to the or rather his own spin to the way directing Harry Potter goes. And I think he did such a good job with making that movie, because that movie had such an interesting tone, like the way it was directed and the way it was showcased. Because like the whole way that like they shot each scene, especially when they introduced the Dementors, and the way they
Oh
introduced the
God,
Dementors
that is
was
freaky,
was
scary.
one of the, I think that genuinely gave me a proper scare. Like
Yeah,
I
right.
remember being hella scared
Dude,
watching
I would
watching
even
that
like
movie.
wager that Dementors are probably as scary, or if not, probably more scary than Voldemort, man. Like the way they're, like, I don't know. It's just like the they brought Lord of the Rings to Harry Potter. Like, what is Sauron doing over here? Like, what is happening with the whispering and the Frodo? Like, no, this is Harry Potter. Why? And then the whole Dementor's kiss and the whole, like, like it's creepy. Like the actual structure of like losing your mind
Yeah.
with the whole night.
Did you know this? Like, the Dementors actually were made to represent depression.
Yeah, I
According
actually
to
just
JK,
yeah,
like that's what depression feels like, because the way they are kind of I don't know, described as well,
yeah.
is all about like they suck away all
Take
the
all your happiness
happiness, and it's
away.
just
Yeah,
very cold, right?
yeah,
And yeah, I think that's they were a really really interesting take on, I don't know, just prison guards in a way, but like a very different kind of prison guard that was
yeah.
the
No
most
one ever
scariest
messed
thing
with them.
ever.
Yeah, and I mean,
And
just the fact that Sirius manages to fight them off and
yeah.
not lose his moxie to them is just brilliant. And like
Also,
the
this was the
entire
movie we got introduced to Sirius Black, bro. My favorite character.
yeah,
Sirius Black, bro. Padfoot. He
that
is he is
the
the man.
Marauders
Actually,
man.
also we
Wait,
get to we got to know two of the Marauders, man. It's not
yeah,
just
we
Sirius.
got it
And
on Lupin,
we get to know Lupin. We get to know Mooney. We get
Moody,
to know Wormtail, and we get to know
that
Padfoot.
fucker. Yeah,
Wormtail is an asshole, yes.
he's a
Who
big asshole.
basically Peter Pettigrew
What
for
if
the
you're
movie.
listening to this, you suck. Also, you did a good job of acting because we really hated you.
Oh, dude, yeah, seriously. Like the whole, also, yeah, as you said, Marauders map. We solemnly swear that we're up to no
Up to
good.
no.
My
Wait,
God.
we were going to begin the episode by saying we solemnly swear we're up to no good, and we completely forgot.
We
That
should
means we
end this
are
episode.
solemnly.
We should end this episode by saying
Yeah.
mischief managed
You know
you.
what? I think we'll talk about the third book, and then we'll actually do a second episode because we love
Yeah.
Harry Potter so much, and we talk about.
Also, I think we've already spoken like almost an hour
Whoa, whoa,
about Harry
whoa!
Potter. And we've just reached the third book.
Same. If
so
your daughter
so
is, you
we
know there's going to be a second episode, and
Yeah, it's definitely it's gonna happen this coming Saturday
it will, it
itself. So
will,
yeah,
it will.
like but anyway, let's talk about the third book in general.
Yeah,
Um, I think the movie did a really good job of adapting the third book, because I don't think they missed out on much other than like
yeah.
the House Cup.
And like you were
Uh,
saying, like
Sorry,
the
the
fat
Quidditch Cup. Yeah,
lady really seems to have a personality in the fat lady has I don't mean that in a weird way, but like the fat lady in the portrait outside the Gryffindor common
yeah,
room, she like really gets a little bit more character third book onwards, and then she gets attacked by Sirius and she's like freaked out. And I remember the movie,
yeah.
they're all sleeping in the Great Hall, and the way they show the hall doors locking is insane.
Oh my
Like that,
God,
you
yeah,
remember the
dude.
whole sequence, the cogs and wheels, and it's like a proper 20-25 second scene of the doors, how they lock themselves, and it's insane, man. And then
I swear, dude.
the
I
demon
swear,
does
like.
start guarding stuff outside, and it's like the Harry Potter world becomes real dark and gloomy, I think, for the first time.
Yeah. Dude, I think the whole movie, it genuinely, the whole third movie did such a oh yeah, I know the director. His name was Alfonso Cuarón. That's
Okay,
what his name was. Alfonso Cuarón.
man.
And he's the guy who he usually, and before this he usually did like small budget films, art
Uh,
films, all those kind of stuff. And nobody expected him to take a big budget Harry Potter film, because Harry Potter did have a very big budget for the time as well. And his shots in general, if you remember, like when they were doing the ridiculous scene when Lupin is teaching the kids ridiculous, the way they are introduced, like they are shown that they are forming a line, is
yeah.
the camera goes into the mirror of the closet, and then suddenly you're back to looking at the kids without, like, you're going through the mirror and then looking at the line of kids, if you remember that scene properly.
Yes,
And
that was a great shot for sure.
like really cool shot. And he also did a lot of I think continuous shots. Like he did like no cut shots. A lot of them like just one continuous take without having any cuts in between,
I'm just
from what
sold
I
on the
remember.
fact that he decided to show Snape in a grandmother's outfit with a purse and everything. Yeah, with Neville's
Oh, dude, Neville
Bogart.
though. I wish they would have showed a lot more about Neville's
Yeah.
relationship with his parents, man.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It's in the
he
third
has
book, right? That Harry visits the hospital and that he finds
Saint
Neville.
Mungo's.
Yeah.
Was it the third book only?
It's,
I think it was this. It might have
maybe
been the
the
third book.
Yeah. Why is Harry
But
in the hospital? What is he doing there?
no, I mean, wait, was it? That's what I'm saying. Was
I
it the
can't
third book?
remember. But well, I do remember that he meets Neville's grandmom, and then they
So,
talk about how,
also we get introduced to the time turner in this
oh my God,
movie.
Hermione, that minx is just
Yeah.
laying her magic all over the place and fucking messing with time and going back to, you know what,
She had
learn
just
more
way too
stuff.
many classes. She had too many classes, and she did it because she wanted to learn more. Not even.
Like
I
just
mean,
imagine.
she was given the time turner by the school, right? Like
Yeah, right.
Hogwarts
That's
gave her the time turner.
extraordinary. That means she must have
Yeah.
been way too badass in terms of the whole academia.
She wanted to take all the courses, and she did not want to compromise on it, and yeah,
Yeah, I
she
remember Harry and Ron like sometimes getting spooked out. Like, wait, Hermione, weren't you? Wasn't she here? What
every time, like, was she here? Was she always here? Like, what happened? How did this
missing?
happen?
And that's when we're also introduced to this Sybil Trelawney. I don't know how do you say that?
Sybil Trelawney, yeah,
Sybil
Trelawney.
Trelawney.
She has a very interesting scene when she gets possessed and talks about like how there's a black
Yeah,
like
the whole
cloud over
prophecy.
Harry, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And she's actually right? Because at that day is when Harry follows, and they really go towards
yeah,
the Whomping Wallow.
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Willow, you mean?
yeah, Whomping Willow. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's pretty badass. And then you have Crookshanks who figures out where's the knot, and then oh my God, the unveil, right? Like the whole book and the movie keeps building towards Sirius as some villain who murdered Harry's parents, and then when the unveil happens, oh my God.
oh, dude. Also, it's such a badass line where also in the books that was Ron that said the line. Just saying.
Yeah,
But in this, Hermione just comes in front of Harry, and to get to Harry, you have to go through us. We'll die before we let you get to Harry or do anything to Harry.
that
Is I
is
think
real friendship,
such a
yo.
badass moment.
So
Such a
badass,
badass
so badass. Damn, and I mean,
moment.
they're so close to like redeeming Sirius, man. So fucking close, but it's
Yeah,
the full moon that night. What are the odds? Like
that is the sad thing, man.
everything gets fucked up. But even the depiction of a werewolf is so well done. Like actually scares you.
And also the
Like
fact that these guys, was it in this movie we learned that they all became animagus because of Mooney, because of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Lupin,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think this was in the books. In the books, it was like these four friends,
Yeah,
like Mooney, Wormtail, Patfoot, and Prongs, which
yeah. Like
is
they eventually figure out that Lupin is sneaking
yeah,
out every
this is
month because
they got to know that Lupin was a werewolf, right?
yeah,
He had to sneak out every 15 days or something, or every time there was a full moon,
yeah,
uh, to like so that he could like just be away from people and not hurt people, and then
yeah.
be back. So just for the fact that they wanted to give him company, these three friends actually learned
That is just
how to become
priceless, man.
animagus.
That is just
Yeah,
priceless. At the same time, like
James Potter.
they make animagus sound like such a boomer thing because none of these guys really attempt to become anime guy, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's like yeah, it's a dad thing.
yeah.
I don't want to turn into a mouse.
Even McGonagall becomes a cat in general, and I don't
Wait,
know
is that
these
her
guys.
animagus or is that just transformation?
That's anime, I guess. That's anime because
Oh,
you turn
oh
into the
yeah.
animal, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
because
anime.
even in the first book, she's waiting outside for
Yeah,
Dumbledore as a cat, right?
yeah,
And Dumbledore looks at her and then he just knows it's her, right?
yeah. There's the twinkle in his eye. That's what the line is always,
Oh
right? The
damn,
twinkle
this is
in his eye.
damn. That is
Also, those lemon candies that he used
lemon
to like.
sherbet. Lemon sherbet.
Sherbet.
Would you, and that's his password too, yeah, at some point to his
Yeah,
office.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Lemon
yeah. To
sherbet.
his to his office it is. It
His
is.
password are hilarious.
But yeah, so I think what else? Oh yeah, we also get to know about this movie had a lot, man. We got to know about Patronus charms in this movie as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Like and the whole mystery between Harry just thinking that his dad came to save him, but
Yeah,
it was just really him.
it
Like
was just
that is
him. Like
that
he
was
had, it just turned out that he had the same Patronus as his dad, which was a stag.
and he's so
Um,
hopeful, right? Like you can see it inside of him, like as a child,
yeah,
still somewhere hopeful. Like he has this idea that his dad's going to come back from the afterlife and meet him, and
yeah.
And he just stands there waiting, 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 and at the end he acts on it. He's like, you know what?
Yeah,
No, it's probably me. And that
he
character
realized it
development,
later.
I mean, Harry just overcomes his fears so
Yeah.
badass in the entire book and the movie. It's just brilliant.
And I think one of the coolest parts of, if you ever saw the interview of Daniel Radcliffe as well, was that he spoke about how whenever he had scenes with Gary Oldman, right, like with Sirius Black, Harry Potter and Sirius Black, that was when he did his best acting because he looked up to Gary Oldman as a mentor, and
It's just beautiful, man.
he learned a lot. He learned a lot from him, and
It's
I think
beautiful.
it's just so beautiful that it translated from the movie to real life as well in this matter because
That's just perfect, man. I mean, their
yeah,
relation is like, because Sirius is the closest thing he has to a dad figure, right? Like he has
yeah,
Arthur,
yeah.
yes, but like with Sirius, it's a lot more real because he's his dad.
Arthur is awesome, but then he also
Yeah,
has a lot on his plate, right? In general,
yeah, correct.
and
But with Sirius, his whole objective of Sirius, like the
yeah,
only reason why Sirius is alive and fights the Dementors is because he wants to get to Harry and let Harry know that he isn't the person the media is making him out to be.
yeah,
But dude, you know what? On a lighter note, I was seeing one of these interviews of Tom Felton, and he's like, whenever, like, obviously the movies and all were over, and
uh,
everything, and everyone had gone their separate ways. But he's like, whenever I'm in London, I'll still call up Daniel at like
Daniel.
2 a.m. in the morning, and I go like, Potter, Potter.
I don't know if he still does that, but it was a thing that he used to do. That's what I
Yeah, in
remember.
that voice of it's like Potter. And
Potter.
just imagine like 2 a.m. in the morning, and you're like, whoa, what?
Also this in this movie, he actually got punched by Emma Watson.
Yeah, right, right, right. Like she just storms off.
Because she didn't realize she actually punched him and she ended up hitting him in real
Oh,
for
yeah.
real in that scene.
Damn,
that
man. Just like his
that was so
acting is really like Potter. Like, oh
funny.
wait, I'm sounding like not Tom Felton, I'm sounding like
Yeah,
Voldemort.
you sound like Voldemort.
Potter.
You don't
No, wait,
sound
how does
like
Tom Felton
Voldemort.
do it? That delivery is impeccable.
Potter. Even I don't know, honestly.
I can't do
But
it. Tom, if you're listening to this, please send us a voice recording. Please put it up.
uh, also, just to mention, like they did for the second movie, we forgot to say that like that book was a Horcrux, right? And Harry ended up destroying it with the
Yeah. Like,
basilisk tooth.
even the Philosopher's
Um,
Stone was a Horcrux. No, wait, no, no, no.
no, that wasn't a Horcrux, man. That
Yeah.
was just a way for Voldemort to try and come back because it was like something that granted immortality, and Nicholas
Nicholas
Flamel
Flamel.
came
Damn,
to
and then
destroy.
show Nicholas Flamel in Fantastic Beasts, but that's a whole different episode
Yeah,
altogether.
yeah, yeah, that's a whole different thing. Um, but yeah, so in general, the only thing if I missed out anything through the movie for the third movie was the Quidditch finals,
Yeah, that
and
was I
I
think one
wish they could have
major
shown
miss.
because
Yeah.
Quidditch has genuinely been one of my favorite things from these movies. Um, Also to mention, like there used to be a game on PS2 that was specifically playing Quidditch.
Oh, really?
You were on teams and you played like matches of Quidditch, and that was genuinely one of my favorite games to play
I had the
on the
Chambers of
PS2.
Secret the entire game on my older PS, like the PlayStation, the
Hmm.
first PlayStation, and it
Yeah,
had, and I think it's the only Harry Potter game I've played. But I remember there was some Quidditch in it, and that Quidditch was so wholesome.
dude,
Like, oh God, playing Quidditch is great. Like
in
flying and throw balls. Like, what?
in the PS2 though. I think they did it like the actual like teams that were there, like those harpies and all those kind of things, like
Yeah.
proper teams from Quidditch World Cup,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
it
I
was a
actually haven't gotten to the Quidditch book. Have you read that Quidditch through the ages?
dude. No, I really want to read it though.
No,
I
right? That's
genuinely want to read
something.
that book.
I mean, I know it doesn't have a lot to do with Harry Potter, but I think to like call myself a fan at some point, I'll have to read that book too.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I think I might just go for it. But before we move ahead to all these things,
Yeah.
and we move ahead to the next few movies, I think we might have to end this podcast here for
Okay,
now.
it's getting
We
way too
have a
long.
lot. We have a lot to talk about. Honestly, we love Harry Potter, but
Yeah.
we can't like go let this podcast go on
Yeah.
for two hours.
We're trying to cap it
So
to an hour, and then we'll have
yeah,
another episode, and we'll talk about books 4 to 7.
the next one is where it gets serious with Harry Potter,
Yeah,
right?
it
Like
gets
the first
dark.
three were the first three were fun,
Yeah,
light-hearted. Like, well, they weren't particularly light-hearted, but they were fun, and they had like the introduction to the world.
yeah.
But I think this is the fourth book is where it really, really, really gets serious.
Done, done, done. So I think we're gonna sign off for now. We've had a
Yeah,
crazy, crazy time recording this. I mean, this has been like pending and it's being hyped up for so long. If you know somebody who's a big fan head, who's a big Potterhead, who's a big fan of the entire Harry Potter universe, you've got to
yeah.
let them know this because it's up to us Potterheads to keep the magic alive. Because
Oh, definitely. And talk to us about your memories with the
yeah, just
first three movies. Like,
tell us.
honestly, just tell us how did you get introduced to this whole series, and we can kind of talk more about what you guys thought about like the first three movies in the next
Yeah.
pod. We
You've
want to
got
see what
to.
you
No
guys
matter
say.
no matter how old you are now, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because whenever you hear Harry Potter, it's like a time machine and you're gonna go back to that time when you were a kid and you read it and we want to keep that alive. You can't let
Yeah.
that go because trust me, one day your letter of acceptance is going to come.
Oh,
And it's
it's
not
there.
gonna be some
It's somewhere in the
fucking
mail. I
not
think
gonna be some
just
fucking Harvard or Princeton because that shit
yeah,
don't matter. You're gonna
yeah,
get
yeah,
to go
yeah.
to Hogwarts and you're gonna
It just
go.
got lost in the mail.
It just got
That's
mixed
all it
up in the
is.
mail. You know,
Yeah,
there is
it
a
just got
plan.
mixed up. Mixed up.
Dumbledore's behind that, and
Yeah.
it's a master plan, and you will find out why your letter didn't come, but it's going.
Dumbly door.
It's gonna come very soon, and you're gonna get sorted. Oh my God, yes, we'll all be together
Yes.
and have so much fun.
No, I'm already sorted, man. I'm
Yeah.
in Mehnat Kash.
Oh no,
I'm in
no,
Hufflepuff.
oh, don't go there.
Hufflepuff.
Not the dubbing. Okay, guys,
Uh,
this is Z signing out. We loved recording this episode,
and
and
this was Padfoot. I'm also signing out now.
we'll
I
see
mean,
you
we don't
guys
wanna we will continue this conversation. Um, but yeah, until Saturday.
later. Yep. See
See
you
you
guys. See
guys.
you sheeples.
See
Bye.
you, sheeples. Bye, sheeples. Okay. Bye. Bye. Bye.